Welcome to Terran Tandem's Octerrorfest. All month long, we celebrate the horrifying delights of the spookiest month, October. Prepare yourself for the episodes that frighten and delight in your spine as we chill you to the bone. You can find us on YouTube and Instagram at Terran Tandem, and you'll always find our latest episode on our website, terrantandem.com.
Welcome.
Hello.
Ooh, we're almost there. We are getting close
to the spookiest day of the spookiest month of the spookiest year. That's every year.
One more week till Halloween. Yeah, I'm excited.
No, a little more.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah.
I don't want people to know exactly when everything happens or where we are.
Yeah,
or what
we
we're
have
doing, or who we are.
a couple more episodes and another bonusode
still
boy. To come.
So
and
many.
I'm including this episode.
This one included.
Oh,
Folks, we're here.
this is what I have to deal with all the time.
We're ready to go. We have got, we've just
everybody
been
feels
stuffing
some
our
empathy for me.
pink, fat little faces
Oh,
full of
please.
horror content, ready to disgorge for your pleasure.
Oh.
Right into your ears.
Just a little rule of thumb. You know, you could probably skip ahead 30 seconds
That
when
10
our
second
episodes
button.
start.
Yeah, just
I
hit it
think
a bunch
it's
of
30
times.
seconds.
Well, I have a 10-second one. I think. I don't know. Anyway, skip me.
So we thought we would do something a little different this time around. You know, we're going to give you an episode. We're going to give you a Halloween themed episode.
Uh-huh.
But it's not necessarily a horror themed episode.
Despite what it says in our introduction.
Well, frighten and delighten.
Oh, right. That's true. This is
going to delighten.
Well, turn your spines over because it's time to delighten them in your.
Yeah, it's time to tickle your spine.
Gonna right to your erogenous zones, everybody.
We're not going to do that, but we are going to talk about what we think are some of the best episodes of TV,
Halloween themed TV episodes
that are Halloween themed.
Yes, I didn't know I was gonna do this until I was putting together my list of episodes and then whittling them down. But like across the board, everything I went to was comedy.
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, I think all of mine are too.
I think
even the comedy shows do the best Halloween episodes.
They do.
To be honest.
Well, there's a real marriage between the two. I mean, you have a lot of crossover with comedians and horror. There's a lot. They mine their best material from a lot of the same wells, you know, pain and tragedy and terrible, horrible things. One way of looking at it is to examine it through, you know, sort of exposure therapy, and the other way is to make light of it.
And I think, you know, if you think of some of the classic Halloween episodes, I know Modern Family always did really good ones.
Well, like the Brady Bunch, you know.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Of course, that's like Halloween baked in.
Every episode.
The Office has done them. Friends have done them. So most of the comedies that are watched by the majority of people do some kind of Halloween episode.
And for sure. It's big business, man, you know.
Some of, you know, it's always fun, I think, to see the creative costumes.
I
mean, that particular episode of The Office where they had the costume contest was really funny.
Even for sure. Even the more straight horror shows, though, when it comes to a Halloween themed episode, they tend to go kind of campy.
Yeah.
At least for that week, or they lean
a little bit more. Are you thinking like Supernatural?
Yeah, Supernatural and Buffy, which have elements of like levity throughout and comedy, but for their Halloween episodes, they really went funnier over scary.
I think, like ER back in the day did some Halloween themed episodes, you know, because that's a pretty popular.
Dress up somebody's.
Or they would have people that dressed up come in to get
it like something removed from their butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nurses sometimes dress up or wear like cat ears.
Okay. Side note. I don't know how I feel about that. Like if you go into a hospital in an emergency situation, right? And you're just like, fuck, I'm bleeding everywhere. Jesus Christ, I'm going to die. And then somebody comes out with like cat ears and a little nose drawn on. It's just, I'm not, just whatever day it is, I don't care. I'm not into whatever's going on. I'm not there for any sort, if it's New Year's or it's Christmas or whatever. But like, I just want a serious fucking person to make sure I don't die.
I think they probably do it mostly for kids. Because I think it'll probably, if kids come in, it'll probably help them.
Rant
Having
rescinded.
a cat take care of you.
I guess, yeah, sure. You know, hey kids, if you're bleeding out and Miss Kitty comes over and is like, hey, I'll stop you from dying.
I don't know. Maybe
is it
there's
better? Call us now.
No.
Let us know your thoughts.
I don't know. I'm just talking about TV.
It's weird. I guess, yeah, I guess I just always want my doctors to be just like very serious, straight up people like, brr.
So you didn't like Patch Adams?
Oh, healing people. Did anyone like that
I
one?
think people did.
Yeah.
Because people really liked Robin Williams.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm sad.
Good. All right. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite Halloween themed TV show episodes. Why don't you start it off?
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with, I mean, I think you and I are going to share this a little bit because we rewatch these a lot. And they always bring us great joy. I'm talking about the beloved, incredible, amazing show with one bad season, Community.
Yeah.
Yay.
Awesome.
So Community, I'm going to cheat a little bit because there are technically, I think there are 3 Halloween-themed episodes, but I'm going to talk about 2 of them. One is the one I think anyone who's watched the show would know. It's season 2, episode 6, Epidemiology.
Well, so Community, just in case you don't know, is a TV show.
Oh, Community.
Yeah.
Not everyone watches it?
No. That ran from 2009 to 2015.
Always under threat of cancellation.
And it stars a whole bunch of people before they, I would say, made it bigger.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I mean, Donald Glover is on the show.
Yeah. Danny Pudi, Joel McHale, Jillian
Jacobs and Allison Brie and Yvette Nicole Brown
Ken
Jeong and Chevy Chase before he became big.
John Oliver also.
John Oliver was on a couple seasons, and he came back. Chevy Chase, apparently a real delight to work with.
Yeah.
As all the rumors about him being very cool and easygoing and accommodating to his co-stars. Really true.
Very famously, Joel McHale has talked about getting into wrestling matches and arguments with Chevy Chase on set multiple times.
I mean,
throwing fists and things
Bill
like
Murray
that.
punched Chevy Chase in like 1980 or some shit, you know? So,
well, yeah, Epidemiology season 2, episode 6.
Imagine being on a show with Yvette Nicole Brown and Donald Glover and for years at this point and just throwing the N-word out. Like,
and Danny Pudi.
What a fucking...
I know he's...
Yeah,
you know,
it's just wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Episode 2... No, season 2, episode 6.
Epidemiology. So this episode, real quick, it's they're having a Halloween party at the community college.
Glendale Community College.
We forgot to mention
Jim Rash.
Academy Award winning Jim Rash, Academy Award winner for writing The Descendants, Jim Rash, who is amazing as the
Dean-a-ling-a-ding-dong.
He's Dean. He's the Dean, but I would say the most weirdly progressive, undefinable sexual creature I've ever seen. Just there are some jokes about it where like he just defies definition.
Pansexual, I would say, is probably the closest before anybody really knew what that meant.
I guess, but even that
2009
doesn't even really describe it. That's one element of
he's just like, open to it all.
The polyhedron of this man's sexuality. It's amazing. So anyway, in this episode, the dean is hosting a Halloween party, and to cut corners at Greendale Community College, he orders what he thinks is taco meat from an army surplus store, but it's actually like experimental biohazard bioweapons stuff that,
there's like a
alert,
code and a number on the back of the packages.
Someone eats it, Chevy Chase, and gets this like advanced form of rabies where he gets a fever, he gets all disoriented, and then he starts biting people, and it makes everyone start biting each other. Now, this episode really stands out because it is like the Community did this a lot with their choice of directors. In their paintball episodes, which were action focused, they had guys like Justin Lin and the Russo brothers directing. You know, these are like Fast and Furious and Avengers directors. So the action in those is dope. For this episode, they hired Anthony Hemingway, who is a TV director mostly known for shows like hilarious comedy shows like The Wire and Battlestar Galactica. So the action in this zombie episode, because it very quickly turns into like a zombie siege episode, it's very tight and really kind of scary. It's awesome. Also hilariously funny because the whole thing, like a lot of episodes of Community, is very metatextual, and it's a deconstruction of a lot of the tropes. The most refreshing of which is the moment Donald Glover and Danny Pudi, Troy and Abed, see someone biting another person. Without hesitation, it's Leonard. Mm-hmm. Troy goes, "Holy crap, Leonard's a zombie." Like, there's none of the whole, like, what is this? What's going on? Oh, no. He's just immediately, like, he's a zombie, and does what I think listeners of our pod would do, is, like, follows the rules, does all the stuff, you know, and consequently, like, makes it the longest, breaking another trope of the black guy dying. Although, Night of the Living Dead, kind of following that, you know, being the last one. Anyway, the episode is hilarious. It's wild. The effects are really great. Of course, it's Community, so like no one is really a zombie. No one really dies, and it all gets resolved by turning the thermostat down and waiting until the virus runs its course. But it is...
Well, there's also some other things that happen. For example, let's just talk about the costumes real quick.
The costumes are amazing.
Because...
Chevy Chase plays like a...
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, but he plays Captain Kirk like as he was in the 60s, and Chevy Chase is in his late 70s at this point. So he's got like tons of hair dye and makeup and like a corset, and it's just awful looking.
Yep. And Annie's Red Riding Hood. Jeff is David Beckham, which he's just like handsome in a suit.
Yeah.
And Troy and Abed start out in matching costumes inspired by Alien.
Abed is wearing an incredible, like, moving xenomorph suit that he made out of like PVC pipes.
Yep.
And Troy, also PVC pipe and cardboard, is wearing the mecha loader suit from Aliens.
But later on, Troy doesn't want to be known as kind of a nerd.
Yeah, he's not scoring with the ladies wearing the giant mecha suit that he made.
So he takes his shirt off and he takes like a toilet one
of those
sheet.
Yeah, the toilet covers that you rip off the sheet.
Yeah, the paper toilet sheet, and writes Dracula on it and puts it around his neck.
And he's sexy Dracula.
Yep.
Because he's Donald Glover, so he's like all skinny and muscular. He's sexy Dracula. Yeah.
The other funny costumes are that Shirley...
Dragon turtle?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Britta is dressed up like a stuffed dragon.
Dragon turtle.
Shirley is dressed as Glinda from The Wizard of Oz, but they keep trying not to say Miss Piggy.
Because she's pink, and she also, the way her voice goes, she has an affectation that sometimes kind of sounds like Miss Piggy a little. And that's hysterical. And then Ken Jeong
is an ice skater.
It's Peggy Fleming.
But everybody keeps saying
Michelle Kwan or Christy Yamaguchi.
Yeah.
It basically, and his response is like, "Peggy Fleming, you've just been proven racist by the racist prover."
And they hook up in this episode.
Oh,
Shirley
there's a whole subplot.
Yeah, which is
like for people
so
that
random.
Don't watch the show, like they don't know the rich jealousy and all that. But the costumes are incredible. Probably the one that takes the cake though is full cyberpunk, like glam Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
By Jim Rash.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Now, Jim Rash wears a lot of costumes throughout
doesn't
the
have
show.
to be Halloween.
Does not have to be Halloween. And my God, he... Even on this... So the funny thing about the Dean and Jim Rash is in the early season he's like kind of in the background a lot. And I think the writers with any good show, they recognize like the real juice. And you just see more and more of him to the point where he becomes a regular because he is so funny.
He is. He's steals the moment.
Really does. Yeah. And I always like watching a multi-season show when you go back to the first season and they're like, and then in the show too, they're very much trying to find it. And then by season, like Parks and Rec also, season 2, it just hits it. Buffy, the same way. Nails it in season 2.
Yeah, speaking of Parks and Rec, that Halloween episode,
is another banger.
In season 2, the one where Andy has the party. And anyway.
Now, real quick.
I do want to say the other way that the Dean tries to save money is he uses his own iPod playlist of only ABBA.
It's only ABBA and his shopping list.
Yeah, he'll
and
interrupt
his
self-motivating,
his like Netflix reminder to watch The Human Centipede.
His self-motivation notes too.
In between like Dancing Queen and Fernando
and SOS.
Yeah, so all of the like gory zombie sequences are set to like Fernando and stuff like that. Now I don't want to waste all the time on this because the other one I want to talk about, it's less discussed, but I adore this episode. It's season 3, episode 5, Horror Fiction in 7 Spooky Steps. In this episode, they all gather round in the room where the group meets at Greendale to do the whole campfire stories thing, where they each tell a scary story.
Yeah. But
every story is acted out by the cast in a vignette. It's all like narrated.
It's a really good one. It's really well done. And it touches
by season
on all
3,
the horror tropes.
Oh, by season 3, the show had leaned fully into the weird. They had musical episodes. Like it was really, I think it's the peak season, honestly. But in this one, you have stories like Yvette Nicole Brown's story, her being the sort of judgmental Christian lady. Her story is all about a cabin full of drug-using sex havers getting,
because they don't believe in God.
Yeah. And then Pierce, because he's a horny old bastard, his story is about like a reclusive guy.
Like essentially like Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, but being, like Burt Reynolds being attacked by racist caricatures and surrounded by naked ladies. It is, and then Annie's is like a Twilight sort of heaving bosom, but excessively gory fan fiction. Is so funny. Now, all of it is done. You can always tell when something is written by someone that has just seen a crap ton of horror movies, because the tropes are so well executed. There's a lot of universal humor I think anybody can laugh at, but there's also a ton of very specific insider humor that like is much funnier if you've seen what they're referencing or the sort of thing they're riffing on.
Yeah.
But having them acted out and narrated, the way that a lot of the stuff, the characters in the acting will speak in a way that, like, if Shirley's narrating it, they speak kind of the way Shirley imagines they would speak.
Yeah.
So they're
it's really racist.
Yeah. Oh, she's incredibly racist. But like, she'll have them speaking in the way she thinks they would talk. And then another one, Pierce has his colleagues speaking in a way he thinks they would talk. So no one...
It's very like 1970s, like slick detective.
Yeah, big dick.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm saying is that even within these vignettes, there's an extra layer of meta where even the dialogue and the affectation is itself a story within a story. Mm-hmm. It's just so clever. I think it is on par with their Emmy Award winning episode with the alternate realities, but
which
the pizza
we're definitely
delivery,
living in the one where
the darkest timeline.
Yeah,
it's literally entered our even people who don't watch the show understands the darkest timeline. That
and he chainsawed them to bits,
and then he put them back together, and then he chainsawed them again forever. Yvette Nicole Brown is so delightful.
She's really good in this because she's also not. She's also kind of a shitty person.
She is, and her character, Shirley. Now,
right,
but undergoes a lot of growth. Starts off as this very like judgmental and prejudiced person who befriends a real motley crew of people she never would have spoken to otherwise. And then over the course of the years, there's a lot of growth and there's a lot of development. And Yvette Nicole Brown, I find as I don't know her, but just her personality that comes across in other things she does and her online presence to be a fascinating and really like, I don't know. She took some time off from acting to take care of her ailing father.
Yeah.
She's very like into advocacy.
I mean, Community took a lot of risks with their casting choices and the character development choices.
Such
because
an amazing ensemble
Abed's
cast.
character, Abed as a character
is deeply autistic.
Yeah, and is often made fun of and misunderstood. But once everybody really starts to understand, they start to understand him.
Yeah, he becomes, I mean, although Jeff is like the figurehead leader of the group, it's Abed.
Yeah.
Abed is not only like, on his worst days, he's sort of the puppet master of the group, but on his better days, he's the like overarching guardian of the group. It's an amazing show. Now we're just
praising it. But anyway, those two episodes are great.
Those two
All
episodes
the episodes
are amongst the best. Season 1, 2, 3, 5, and sort of 6. But skip 4. It's
6 just to the wrapping.
The
conclusion.
The network famously fired Dan Harmon. He wasn't involved in season 4, and then they brought him back. But that's epidemiology and horror fiction in 7 spooky steps.
Awesome. So I'm going to talk about another comedy, long-running comedy, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And it ran from 2013 to 2021.
Some really talented people on that. Joe Latrulio and Chelsea Peretti.
Yeah, absolutely.
And love Andy Samberg.
I mean, it just really launched his career into the,
well, yeah, there's that
living room.
There's that
living room.
There's that post Saturday Night Live period in where some of them they make a couple like crappy movies and they just disappear, like Chris Kattan, or they make it. And I feel like their project after Saturday Night Live is very important.
And I heard that Andy Samberg is just like one of the nicest people.
Oh, listen, I'm a huge diehard comedy Bang Bang fan, and hearing him interact with Scott Aukerman and just being on the pod, he's one of the best guests. He seems like a genuinely goofy, funny person.
Yeah.
And it's clear like people get along with him really well.
So I'm going to specifically talk about the Halloween episode from season 1, episode 6, because this kicked off, this is the inaugural episode that would continue throughout all 8 seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So every season they would have a Halloween episode. The first couple seasons it was Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, and then they started to have fun names after that.
I'm not familiar with these, so this is new for me.
Anyway, it's our Halloween heist themed episode. So every Halloween episode takes place around their annual Halloween heists that begin as a bet typically between, well, this is the first episode, the first one. It began as a bet between Jake, played by Andy Samberg, and Captain Holt, played by Andre Braugher.
Oh,
R.I.P.
rest in peace.
And
what a beautiful voice.
He said that he bet him that he could steal his Medal of Valor from his office to gain the title of amazing detective / genius. So this competition, the trophy changes each year, and the victory sometimes leads to interesting character developments. These episodes are filled with misdirection, fake outs, false endings. It's a really, really fun time. This inaugural episode from season 1 is where the title of your sex tape joke originated. So back in 2013, they came up with, somebody said something on the show and Jake said, that's the title of your sex tape. And now people say it all the time.
For real? Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is really funny because, like I said, there's lots of misdirection.
I think mine is Meet the Clumps.
You never quite know if Jake is actually ahead or behind in the heist. Does he win in the end? Does he not? Each of these seasons have different victors. Again, I told you they eventually get like a wrestling belt as part of the prize. They increase like subterfuge and get people involved, and sometimes have actors come in that they're pretending they're criminals.
Would you say these are hijinks, shenanigans, or both?
I would say both.
Okay.
Big time both. One of these episodes, so Boyle, I forget the actor who plays him.
Is he the little guy?
Yeah.
Joe Latrulio.
Yeah. So
from the state.
Yeah, exactly. He dressed up every year, and every year he'll come in and everybody will guess his costume purposely incorrectly, just to kind of tease and annoy him. One year he decides not to dress up, and he's riding up in the elevator with Captain Holt, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't dress up this year?" He's like, "Yeah, no one ever does, so I didn't do it." So open the elevator doors and everybody is dressed up, like really elaborately, all waiting. "Why didn't you dress up? Why didn't you dress up?" And he said, "Permission to go get my emergency costume." So he runs out, he gets his emergency costume, which he's dressed like Elvis. He comes back, like it says, 5 minutes later. None of them are dressed up.
That's next level.
And they start to be like, "Oh, are you supposed to be like whatever?" Like they won't guess his costume correctly. So that's really a funny running thread throughout these episodes. And then in one season, Jake proposes to Amy, and she won't take it seriously because she thinks it's part of the heist.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last episode, the last season, it's a 2-part finale, and it's the Halloween heist.
Nice.
2-part finale.
Yeah.
So definitely worth a watch. If you aren't interested in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as a show, I would just check out that it's the first season, episode 6. So it's not like you're missing out on too much. Just watch that. It's really funny. It's really fun. It keeps things light, and I don't know. I really like heists. I like heist movies. I mean, listen, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is an easy, fun time, and they have a lot of seasons, and it's just like easy in and out, but these Halloween episodes are real fun.
Nice. You want to take maybe a little break, Skapooski?
Sure. It's that time again. Time for the return of your favorite everyman. Time for the return of Brian. The chameleon of chaos is back and ready for all the kinky, clinky, and terrifyingly mundane tasks you need him to take care of. After being swept away by local law enforcement on sealed charges, Brian has returned to a neighborhood near you. And while he doesn't need to notify his neighbors of his residential status, he will sidle up to anyone that has a side. That is only one of the many alarming traits that Brian has to offer. Surprise and lack of boundaries are his specialties. 'Cause aren't we all feeling a little lonely these days? Need an escort to the mailbox? Brian is there. Want someone to water your plants when you're out of town? Brian will do it. Need to dispose of a body? As long as the body doesn't belong to Brian, he's the man for the job. No need to ask twice or even once. Brian will do the things that need doing, whether you want him to or not. Just turn around and you will see him. Brian has never been so close. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. According to the documents we have been provided, Brian has served his time. We do not condone nor endorse what Brian does that might or may not be immoral or illegal.
And welcome back from your TV break with sponsors.
Yeah.
Like TV does.
What's your next TV?
Well, my next one is a big one because I'm going to be talking about a long, possibly the longest running series so far, and it is The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Now, my gosh, I'm going to be honest with you folks. I am an early Simpsons watcher. I was watching the shorts on the Tracy Ullman show. Mm-hmm. have what's one of the happiest memories of my childhood is sitting down and watching the Christmas episode with my brother, just the two of us. I was like 9, I think, when that came out. Santa's Little Helper. Anyway.
And you got to meet a bunch of the writers.
I was fortunate enough in my 20s, I think, or early 30s to attend a table read where I got to meet Dan Castellaneta and Nancy Cartwright and Yeardley Smith. And that was really cool. Way back when. So,
Nancy Cartwright didn't try to convert you to Scientology?
I mean, not her specifically, but while I lived there, that was attempted on me numerous times. Good luck. I don't even believe in the religion my parents raised me in. So I am going to talk about this because it is a long-running cultural icon and legit one of the best horror anthologies even on its own. It's written by, the first 10 years of The Simpsons, in my opinion, are the glory days. And that's where a lot of my examples are going to come from. But it has kept up with the times. I mean, these are things that were started by, writers from Harvard who grew up in the 60s and 70s. And so it was like a lot of breakdown of classic horror movie tropes, but they've since evolved to include things like The Babadook, The Purge, and like kept up with the times because it's been on air for like decades. Anyway, Treehouse of Horror, it always kind of gets me now because back in the day, it was so controversial to have these things on a quote unquote kid show, which I would argue The Simpsons never was, that they always began with Marge coming out in front of like a stage and warning the parents that what they were about to see was very scary and maybe they wanted to take their kids into the other room. And that's like a very melancholy thing to watch these days when like I could go to YouTube and literally just watch, you know what? I don't even need to go to YouTube. I could just go on the official White House social media account and I'll watch a boat full of Venezuelans get unalived by America. Like I can watch actual death now. And there's something to be said about watching a cartoon Marge Simpson kind of wring her hands and go, this is very scary and you might want to take your kids out of the room, that I always found adorable and very sweet. And now I find sort of like, hey, maybe that's a good idea, right? Like maybe it's okay if the sort of baseline of our publicly available for everyone, kids included, entertainment is such that when you have something as mild as a Treehouse of Horror episode, you're like, hey, maybe take the kids out of the room, right? Anyway, that's enough of my old man Abe Simpson. So Treehouse of Horror has introduced us. Now, for what it is, it's a special Halloween episode of The Simpsons. It's not part of the real show, right? And it's just a series of vignettes, usually with a wraparound, kind of like the VHS series. I think probably stole that from it. But it has included some truly classic, I would say, transcendent moments that have broken out of The Simpsons. I'm going to talk about a few of them. Now, the third episode of Treehouse of Horror, which came in season 4, because this is the thing that began in season 2. That's when The Simpsons really started to take off. That's got the one where there's a killer Krusty the Clown doll that Homer gets from basically like the same kind of store you get Mogwais from in Gremlins.
Yep.
Has that exchange about frozen Frogurt that is cursed and toppings, but the evil clown doll terrorizes them until Homer finds the switch on the back that sets him from evil to good, and then he becomes their friend. It's got the episode of I'm sorry, I'm having like a lot of nostalgia here. Getting back to it, there's a scene where Homer's being attacked by the doll who's like trying to pull his tongue out. And he says, Marge, the doll is trying to kill me and the toasters have been laughing at me. And that has nothing to do with anything the toasters thing. That's just a weird thing that's going on in Homer's dumb brain. But yeah, that's the sort of like silliness that I really love. Now, the standout from this episode, though, is when when Lisa Simpson tries to raise the spirit of Snowball 1, her deceased cat, right, and raises the dead, including a zombie Shakespeare, who I guess is in Illinois or Springfield, wherever it is. I don't think it's in Illinois.
Ohio.
Springfield somewhere. But, they go out and Homer is taking them out with cool one-liners and a shotgun blast. And then he shoots a zombie Ned Flanders. And this is the best moment where I think Bart says, "How did you know Flanders was a zombie?" And he goes, "Flanders was a zombie?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
classic.
These
Homer.
are some of the best. You've got the monkey paw episode. You have like more the one where he signs his soul to the devil for a donut, and then late one night the deal is if he eats the loophole is if he just leaves a few crumbs of the donut left, he won't have to go to hell. But being Homer, he wakes up in the middle of the night and eats the rest of the donut. And as he's eating it, he says, "Forbidden donut." And
in
then,
his Homer way.
The devil, who is Ned Flanders, the one you least suspect, comes in to, force feed him donuts. But none of the ironic food punishments work on Homer because his appetite is limitless.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an amazing one. But the last one I want to call out. Oh, there's that one where it was like the classic sci-fi Twilight Zone episode where Bart becomes the horrible child with infinite powers. But the best one, I think, in my opinion. Oh, also, sorry, I know I'm rambling a bit, but the one where Homer clones himself.
Yeah.
Through the hammock, and then he has to murder his own clones. The one where Homer is fiddling with the toaster and it actually turns into a time travel device, and he keeps going back to like dinosaur times, and every time he goes back he fucks with nature in some way that has a horrible butterfly effect on the future. So he keeps coming back and to worse and worse alternate realities that he's causing. And then, he finally starts to go crazy. In one of them, donuts rain from the sky, but he misses that one. In one, everything is fine, but he tries to eat a turkey sandwich and the turkey's a little dry, so he freaks out and leaves that reality. And then, like, at the end of it, he basically goes back to primordial times, and instead of being worried about crushing like one mosquito, which has a catastrophic effect on the future, he murders everything he sees and just like breaks all the trees and kills all the bugs. He's like, "Ah!" And when he comes back, everything looks fine. And he feels like, "I've finally done it," until they serve food and everything's the same in this reality except we all now have lizard tongues. And he's like, "That's good enough," and just stays with it. That is... I mean, anyone who's read Ray Bradbury will certainly appreciate that. It's The Sound of Thunder. It is just the best. Treehouse of Horror is a cultural institution.
Yeah.
It's
something you could count on every season.
It really is among the best episodes of the show itself.
Do they still...
They still do it. Oh, we're up into like the triple digits at this point. And they've updated their references. It's still quite timely. There's still occasionally some pretty good episodes, but I don't mean to sound like a cranky geriatric millennial.
Well, you already did. The cat's out of the bag.
Whoops. But it really, the first 10 years of the show, maybe 11 or 12, are some of the best animation and comedy ever created in the history of the medium. And then it went on for another like couple of decades.
Yeah.
And is still on. It's a show older than some of my coworkers, which is really something.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll talk about my last recommendation or kind of highlight is one of my favorite TV shows, which we don't typically talk about non-horror stuff on this pod, so you might not know.
Horror-themed pod. We do other things, folks.
Is the TV show Psych. As silly and campy and ridiculous as it is, I really do love this show.
Come on, son.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, it's really the two main characters, James Roeday Rodriguez and Dule Hill.
Dule Hill, coming off the West Wing in a very serious role.
Yeah.
Knocking it out of the park with such a tender, hilarious,
oh my God,
funny
it's the best
role that also, look, jokes aside, is a definition of masculinity and true like friendship and loyalty and the goods that is very counter the whole manosphere bullshit going on now.
It's like
Gus,
acceptance of a friend in their completest form.
And Gus is not your typical man, but he is very much a man. And I love his bravery matched with his fragility.
So Sean Spencer is basically a psychic detective. He claims to be, but he's not. He's just super astute and observant, and he's able to, deduce like the things that happen and put clues together, like a really good detective. But
he's crazy good charisma.
Has never tried to be a detective.
He cons his way into jobs working with the cops.
And Dulé Hill is a pharmaceutical rep, but essentially just his sidekick. And it's really great. Anyway, so
it's an amazing show.
The episode I want to talk about is called A Nightmare on State Street. And
it's like if antidepressants were a show.
Yeah. It's season 8, episode 9, where Sean and Gus think that Lassie, played by Timothy Odmanson, his new girlfriend is a vampire, and they have a client who claims he's a werewolf. So this essentially begins with Sean and Gus stopping at a gas station. We see them in the car, and then Sean gets out to get snacks. Gus stays in the car. He has had a real hard time sleeping because he just broke up with his girlfriend. And you see Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears
making one of several appearances.
One of several. He's one.
Holy shit!
He
this
comes
is
on the
so
show
odd.
a lot. He pulls up on the side of them. Yeah.
Both co-hosts are big old fans of Tears for Fears.
We are.
So we are the kinds that when Kurt Smith rolls up, we're like, holy fuck, that's Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears, like right away.
So he pulls up and he sees Gus and he's like, hey Gus, how's it going? And he's like, oh, and then Gus sees zombies emerge from the grass behind him. And he's like rolling his window up and being like, no, Kurt Smith. No, as the zombies basically attacking and kill Kurt Smith.
I know.
Kurt Smith doesn't have good, like a lot of good ends in his guest appearances.
He guest appears on Psych several times, and it's only to get murdered or brutalized
or made fun of.
And I gotta give it out to him. What a sport!
But
he's also, they've been on. I know I brought it up a few times, but he has been a guest a few times on Comedy Bang Bang. And to Tears for Fears, and they're funny.
Yeah, well, this is what the whole show is. You can tell that James Rode Rodriguez and Dulé Hill love making the show, and everybody loves making the show and coming on the show.
That is so clear
because
when
they do a Twin Peaks episode.
Oh yeah.
And a couple of people from Twin Peaks come on. And then
like
a couple
bunch.
of seasons later, they do another episode that's not a Twin Peaks episode, but the same guest stars come back and do different characters. It's hilarious. Anyway,
you get
more about this episode.
There's a lot of love.
Yeah. More about this episode is that Gus wakes up after Kurt Smith is killed by zombies in a doctor's office. So he obviously was dreaming. The doctor, Dr. Simpson, is played by none other than Bruce Campbell.
Oh.
So he is basically gaslighting Gus this entire episode into his codependency friendship with Sean and being like, you need to figure your own stuff out. That's why you're not sleeping. But it's an Inception type episode. You don't ever know when Gus is really dreaming. They go into other sequences where Gus thinks that, he's like, oh, Sean's there. Sean's like, I have to use the bathroom. And then Gus goes down the hall and opens the bathroom door, and there's Sean as a zombie. And the thing with Dulé Hill is his screaming. Because he screams awake
in like a falsetto,
and it's really funny. And they have a lot of staple horror cliches. There's like creepy dolls. He runs into a house. There's scary music playing. all the horror like cliches come about in this episode. So Gus has the nightmares. We have Kurt Smith. And then just like all the other episodes of the show, we have kind of this coming to a realization about something that has a lot of heart and is advancing the character development along. So it's really a funny and silly and sweet episode. The other episode I want to talk about from Psych is called This Episode Sucks. It's from season 6, episode 3. And it's another one where Lassiter, he meets his girlfriend at a crime scene that looks like the victims had all of their blood drained. So as soon as Sean and Gus find out that it looks like this victim has had their blood drained, they go immediately into costume mode. And This is why I'm bringing it up, is because Sean dresses as the vampire Lestat from Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, and he's really into the whole
He
French,
does, and he keeps flicking his hair, his blonde hair.
He specifically does like the Tom Cruise version.
Yes,
of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I said from Interview with the Vampire.
No, well, there's a show now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But this happened.
I know. I'm just saying.
And Gus is dressed as Blackula.
Yeah.
However, people think that he is Count Chocula.
That's terrible.
Every time people ask him who he's supposed to be, it's Count Chocula, and he gets super annoyed about it.
I would tell you, Gus, Burton Guster, we would have immediately got it.
One of the other notable things about this particular episode is the guest stars. And there are really great guest stars throughout the series. But this one has, and I think that What We Do in the Shadows kind of stole a little bit of this vibe, is Corey Feldman stars, Christy Swanson, and Tom Lennox, all from different iterations of vampire shows.
Yeah. Christy Swanson, the original Buffy.
Yeah.
And current Trump voter.
Yeah, she's big MAGA.
Big MAGA.
Big MAGA.
Cool. Good for you.
Anyway, it is really fun and really funny. And one other thing I want to say is there are a lot of Halloween themed episodes that also aren't necessarily Halloween episodes of Psych. One in particular is 100 Clues, and it is a playoff of the movie Clue.
Oh, God.
Another Kurt Smith guest appearance.
Yeah, and that's hilarious. But is that the one with Cleathby?
Yes.
Cleathby.
There is a butler. His name is Cleathby. And I know that doesn't sound funny to anybody, but if you just watch that 100 Clues episode,
it's Cleathby.
You can watch it out of context. It's incredible. And like I said, Kurt Smith does. And it's, people get murdered.
Oh,
just
motherfucker,
like in the movie
it's
Clue.
Garrett Morris.
Yeah.
How did we mess that? No, that's Garrett Morris from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's got to be another. Cleathby.
I would say that is one of the funniest Psych episodes. And again, it's not a Halloween episode,
it is one of the
but
funniest. Yeah, it's so good. Garrett Morris is hilarious.
You hear a lot of Gus scream.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too. When you watch Psych,
and Kurt Smith doesn't just die. Like, it's like they purposely are torturing him at this point. Yeah.
It's a great show. They have a lot of Halloween themed episodes. The couple that I mentioned are definitely worth a watch. This Episode Sucks and Nightmare on State Street.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up with just very.
We're going to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up by talking quickly about our shared recommendation, which comes from a show that is still on the air. It is become one of the longest running comedies of all time, and we're talking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, this is the now classic season 6 episode 7 episode Who Got Dee Pregnant?
Yeah.
Everything about this episode is incredible.
It is a chaos.
Now,
it's chaos, basically.
It was written by Charlie Day and Rob McElhenney. And
Rob Mack.
Basically,
changed his name. He's changed his name.
Okay. So it starts off with the gang sitting around the bar and talking about how they're like wild times, and they start making fun of Dee for looking like a bird, which is something they do. And she just throws out like, well, yep, have fun figuring out which one of you got me pregnant, and just leaves that bomb with them.
Yeah, that's
right?
the cold open.
It's amazing. It's an incredible like record scratch moment. So
they each go through and give their own account of the party. So it's like they're being interviewed.
Well, it's Rashomon.
Yeah.
Is what it is. They each go through the night in their own very biased, very twisted, extremely unreliable version of events.
Well, because Dennis and Mac said they were going to go as Mario and Luigi, and Mac decided to change his costume without telling anybody. He's going as Aragon from the Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
So he's now sexy, and that pisses Dennis off more than
Dennis
anything.
Is Luigi.
Yeah.
So he's got the big hands and the mustache.
And Frank is dressed as Spider-Man, and Charlie is the Phantom of the Opera, who he thinks is a vampire.
Yes, he does.
And Dee dresses as a bird.
Yep. Now, in each retelling, coming from Dennis, coming from Matt, as they all try to find out what happened this night, you get more and more details, but you can't really trust any of it. Some of the accounts vary pretty wildly. Some of them,
the McPoyles show up,
yes,
which add a little confusing
and then the
layer.
McPoyles have their own version of events.
The waitress shows up. Artemis shows up.
Though it's everybody.
Yeah,
it's like it's an ensemble. Everybody comes. They keep going through the night over and over. And the really special thing about this is that in each subsequent retelling, Dee, as she appears,
gets more and more like
becomes
a bird.
more and more actually like a bird.
Yeah.
So like at first she's got a couple feathers, and
like
then
she looks cute, and then it's like more of
and then she like has a beak,
mascot type content.
And then
costume.
then she becomes like sort of like a hideous bird human creature.
Doesn't even speak words.
By
she
the
only
end of
speaks,
it, she is an actual bird,
Yeah.
like an emu. Or an ostrich.
They do interview Liam McPoyle because notoriously the McPoyles don't drink alcohol; they drink milk.
Yes, they drink milk.
So because they all got pretty drunk, and their accounts are quite a mess, they try to get, and they actually get probably the most accurate information.
Yes.
Out of this, and there's a bunch of costume switching because Dennis doesn't think that he's sexy enough, so he and I think Charlie switch Phantom of the Opera, and
that's when Charlie is Phantom of the Opera because he gets pulled in
by multiple people.
Yeah. So anyway, look, long story short, they go through multiple wild versions of the night where they basically each think they fucked Dee at some point. Even Dennis.
Yeah.
And then the rug pull is she comes back, sees that they're all destroyed from like this emotional roller coaster they've been on all night long trying to recount the events. And she's like, no, it was none of you. I was fucking with you guys. Now they did this episode because Caitlin Olsen was pregnant in real life. So she, throughout this season, had the bump. And the character Dee was just a surrogacy pregnancy. She just did it for money.
Yeah.
And that harkened back to an earlier episode where she was trying to become a surrogate at some point to earn money. It turns out she actually did.
And they went and basically swam in somebody's mansion pool.
Yeah. But
she kept doing jackknives, and they were like, we can't have our future surrogate
like drinking.
being so dangerous.
I know, it was amazing. But so, none of them did it. And then they're all relieved and they go back to calling her a bird. But the Rashomon element, the slow reveal of details, the unreliable narrators, it all is actually quite intricate and woven together pretty well to reveal the show and reveal the information at a deliberate pace. And it is very funny. It's very raunchy. It's very Philadelphia. But the bit of Dee becoming more and more bird-like is one of the all-time classics of the show. It is so funny.
But also the kind of revelations of as you keep talking to people, the same details, but more specific.
Yes.
Come to light.
And you can start narrowing things down a little bit. But as it turns out, all of it's bullshit. None of it was true. They're all just a bunch of drunken morons.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it happened.
Yeah,
it was just wasn't
it led to
wasn't this person.
No,
yeah.
It led to things other than that. But the best Philadelphia episodes, in my opinion, are ones that make a huge deal over
The
essentially
smallest
nothing.
thing,
And then
yeah.
at the end, it's just like nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the best Philadelphia episodes is when Charlie goes on a date.
Yeah. Oh, as a full-on rapist? Philanthropist?
When they keep trying to take his picture.
Yeah.
And he can't smile for his portrait.
And he orders milk steaks. Listen,
And
the show has been on longer than your kids have been alive for a reason. It is the best. But Who Got Dee Pregnant is an all-timer. It's got great costumes. It's got a lot of Halloween stuff. But the, it's a show that I think that on the surface, it's raunchy and it's kind of extreme comedy, but it's actually a show with a lot of depth and a lot of intricacy. It's a carefully constructed show. Rob Mack and Charlie Day are workaholics, so like they really, really construct this show. And this is a prime example of that. This is a show, an episode where a lot of things had to be very, very carefully timed and revealed in the way they were to make it work the way it did.
Yeah, it's great. So check any of those out. Just a quick in and out. You could just watch a couple of Halloween themed
and
episodes.
These are just the shows that you and I watch that we like.
Yeah.
There's lots of I didn't even talk about Buffy or Angel or Supernatural, which I do watch and love.
Yeah.
Lots of good episodes there. We didn't talk about Abbott Elementary.
Right.
And these are just the things on our radar. We would love to hear if you all have your own favorite Halloween episodes.
Feel free to share them. Send us a DM.
Send us one of them DMs.
On Instagram, at Terror in Tandem.
At Terror in Tandem. Happy almost Halloween,
yeah,
everybody.
we gave this to you a little early so you could have some fun things to do on the week leading up to Halloween.
These are great for groups who want to celebrate Halloween but aren't
they
into
don't
the
like
gore.
Horror. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't want the horror stuff, but it's just fun enough.
Because it can be fun.
Yeah.
Halloween is fun.
Exactly, and it should be, honestly.
So get those buckets.
We gave
of
you
candy.
enough time to give yourself a little dopamine hit. Give yourself a little fun and relax. And we're all having fun, folks.
Yeah, this is fun.
We're all
everybody.
having fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
Bye.
Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our Octerrorfest theme and all other music was written and performed by David Suspanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you do, we promise not to haunt you.